Hi, kindergarten, first and second grade leaders. We are preparing for March 3rd. And this week we get to talk about the 10 Commandments as we continue our series in Goal, where we are helping kids ask and answer the question, what is God like? God is holy, good, and loving. And how important it is for our kiddos to understand that God is all three of those things. And because He is holy, only He can be holy. Because He is good, He wants good for us, even though we've watched all kinds of crazy things happen to Moses, and maybe our kids feel like all kinds of crazy things happen around them. But God wants good for us, and He wants for us to know that He doesn't want us to die without knowing that His Son, Jesus, was sent so that we could have a relationship with Him again. So, as you are arriving today, and thank you for being early and helping be there when kids get there, it helps a whole lot for kids to have somebody to immediately connect with. So I appreciate you being there and helping them figure out ways that they connect with each other. Your game is called Cooties, and you have some dice and some papers. Each kid gets a paper, and what they're going to do is toss the dice until they get to build their bug or cootie or whatever they want to call it, their monster. Now, your instructions in your leader guide say that they should not add legs or antenna or eyes or a tail until they have drawn the body and until they've drawn the head. I think it's important to try to follow those rules because it's going to be a fast enough game. It really, like, these social activities are more for you to have extra time to build relationships with kids. And so it's not so that there's a bunch of winners and all of that sort of stuff, although we do like to appreciate and celebrate winners. The focus is building relationships and having time and fun things to build off of. As you remember that we've talked about in many of our huddles, fun over time equals relationship. And so as we begin to have more fun experience with kids, they begin to trust us in new ways and fun ways so that we can help relate to them, and you guys can continue to be the relationship experts that help build relationships within your small group. We'll do large group, and then in small group, you will have a bag of, they look like file folder labels. They are file folder labels, and some papers that look like this. You'll also have some pencils on your table. So kids are going to take their paper and draw their hands around, draw around both of their hands on their paper. And this is important. This is why, because you have 10 fingers. Hopefully every kid has 10 fingers. You have 10 fingers, and there are 10 commandments. And so they're going to number each one of the fingers however they want to do that. It doesn't really matter. And just make sure that they, like, as they're putting their stickers on the fingers of their hands, that they try to keep the put God first, worship Him only, no bad words, and work 6, rest 1, that they put those 4 together, and the other 6 need to be together. Because God, when He gave us these commandments, He gave us 4 commandments to help us know how to relate to God, to put Him first and to worship only Him, that our language makes a difference in whether or not we are communicating that we love God, and that we should take a day of rest so that we are taking time to acknowledge God and what He's done for us. And then the other 6 rules are rules on how to love other people. And many of us will be thankful that this one's on there, and you may want to remind them that God thought it was so important that He made it one of the top 10. Obey your parents. Harm no one. Don't cheat. If it's not yours, don't take it. Tell the truth. Don't be jealous of other people's stuff. So all of those were rules that help us know how to relate to each other. So that's your That's your small group activity. I think the kids will have fun with that. And I hope it sparks great discussion amongst you guys. Maybe you could talk about what rules are at school or rules are at home and see if they relate to the things that God says are the most important things for us to do or to be aware of. He made those rules so that we could relate better to each other and to Him. All right, your memory verse activity, you'll have some soccer goals set up around the room. There'll be one for each grade level with a piece of tape marked on the floor. Kids are going to try to take the ball and kick it into the soccer goal, not dribbling, but one big kick from the line into the soccer goal. Doing that because many of our kids are really good at kicking, and that way it makes it a little bit more challenging so that we get a little bit longer to play with them. And then if they make their ball into the goal, they can say a word or a phrase from the memory verse. And then you can pray with them and spend a little extra time chatting with them. Maybe you want to pull a game out from the room and play that together. I really encourage you to use any extra time that you have as a way to continue to build relationships with the kids in your group. Or maybe that's a time where some of the others are playing and you can spend more one-on-one time with a kid based on your discussion, and see ways that you can pray for them or encourage them or continue to build them up and help them see that God is for them and wants good and loving and holy things for them as well. Thank you for building relationships that build disciples. What you do in small group is one of the most important things we do at Parkway Church. If we can build relationships well, we are helping kids build a foundation of knowing how to relate to each other, of knowing how what a relationship with God looks like, because you are their living example of that today. And so, thank you. Thank you for building relationships that help us build disciples and help kids grow and to know Him more.